Hello everyone, welcome to yet another live stream. Hi there. Hi Overdog36, hi. Hi Diamond.
Hi everyone.
Let's put some water. So, today, well, we'll just finish the video, that's the plan. Hopefully. Hi the Stump, hi Balin, hi. Hello, why hello? That's the wrong one, there we go, that's the right one. Cool, I just checked my Discord to see who pinged me. It was Omorit calling me gay. Alright. I bet I can make a better black hole model. Probably. Alright.
Video in case you haven't seen.
Now, where do we finish off? Right, we finished off right here. So, and you know, I didn't say I wasn't, I'm just saying that he's calling me gay.
For the first one, they are shifted 128 numbers lower down. That was the point of the previous video in case you haven't seen it. But the point...
Wait, where is it happening? I can't even find it.
The child checkups.
But the point of today's video will be different, and that will be the fact that if you have a 40-bit...
Okay, right here we need... right here we need... Can I get the character model in a sec? What's your idea? What are you doing? What are you planning to do? I'm gonna send it over in a second. Give me a sec. Because I'm looking through my files right now. Right, character model. My character model is right in... I have a bunch of them and I need to pick the right one. There are so many. I think this one is the right one. There are so many makers. Why is there another maker in there? There's two of them. They're both... Okay, well, fine. This is good enough. Whatever. This is new poses 1. Okay. I'm gonna send it over in the child checkups channel. Or the child checkups general. Because people are still spamming the child checkups. There we go. There you have it. Make it more like make
Hey,
them.
I'm
I have...
downloading this too.
There are so many makers I've made. And clearly, just watch the stream.
Different, and that will be the...
Right, the reason why I opened my files was I was looking for music. How easily I forget. Music. Space pop, well, how appropriate. You know what, I'm fine with this. I am fine with space pop.
Unsigned goes from 0 to data types in practice.
Oh, yuck, this is gross. Why haven't I just edited this earlier on? There we go. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Disgusting.
We get to data types in practice. I personally think that this will be the greatest.
Yeah, the transition is a bit shitty. Don't really have time to fix it.
So assign
Let's keep going.
today's video will be different, and that will be the fact that if you have a 40
Oh, that fits well.
bits like this, then you can read it as a
That works really, really well. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Absolutely. Okay, now... 2076. How is everyone doing, by the way? Pardon me for not asking, I've just been distracted.
char, then you can read it as a char, then
There we go.
another char, then a
What? Shut up, Windows. There we go.
short, then a char, then a char.
In the chart. We're only at 6 minutes of the video finished. That's not good. It's really slow.
Or maybe you can read it as an int and the char as then a cha. Or maybe you can read it as an...
Oh, and President over here also mentioned the code, which I haven't yet made. I pretty much take my leave by stump by sort of thing by this late
int and a cha.
in the char. There we go.
Cha. Or maybe you can read it as a short.
Short. Right here, there we go.
Int and a cha. Or maybe you can read it as a short, then a cha. Cha, then another.
There we go. Actually, now that I think about it in retrospect, it would be... could be really easily explained by like reading a decimal number by just reading different digits. And this explanation is kind of clear enough already. I don't know if this... it feels clear enough to me, but the problem is that I'm used to it. And people watching the video will probably not be used to it. I'll have to rewatch this and see.
Or maybe you can read it.
I'll have to rewatch it and see.
Or maybe you can read it as a cha, but interpret them as ASCII text instead of numbers, and then but interpret them as
Make it make sense. Hi, the Italian of the hi. Yeah. We need to make it make sense. I agree.
interpret them as ASCII text instead of numbers, and there we go. You get a word. And there we go. You get a word. And so that's how types work. They are numbers. And there we go. You get a word. And so that's how types work. They allow us to save different numbers with different formulas, but the underlying information...
Wait, can
different
someone
formulas-
fill me in, because I wasn't here at that live stream? Like, if I had to guess, it was Catman, because it's just something Catman would say. But like, can someone like actually tell me where it comes from?
What make it make sense?
Yes.
No, it's just we're just my political slogan. We need to make it make sense. When you have a complex problem, then you need to make it make sense.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, make it make sense. Well, I know what you're confused about. It's very simple.
But the underlying information never
I know,
changes.
in my head it was. I just imagined that.
We need like
you were saying
a red
something.
cup that's just has 4 M's and an S at the end, and that would be our make it make sense cup.
Changes. And just to prove to you that this really is how it works, here's a
Yeah, and right here I
some-
mentioned the program in C, which I haven't yet made. Whoops, ballsy.
I don't know. I somehow imagined the lore behind it to be something like you speaking a bit like somehow picking up my speech pattern, and people just telling you to start making sense, please.
No, it's when there's a complex topic. You need to make it make sense. Oh no, Black Thunder, the I isn't there because it's still make it. That's still a single word. Make it is a single word now. Hi there, Yas. Hi, welcome. How you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. Hi there. Okay, now this is a bit tricky because if we want our program to actually work well, we need to associate every single line with the correct... shucks, that's difficult. So basically, here's the thing. The way we would do it is we would save the 40-digit binary number that we have at the bottom, and then I can do it, it's fine. Long test 4 is equal to, and then we need to save the entire 0 1 0 0 1 1 0 1 0 1 1 2 3 4 5. I hope I didn't make any mistakes. This should work, And then, if we read it, print %s, %c, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, no, why am I doing it this way? I don't need to do it this way. I can just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, end line. And then we need to take test 4 and then cast it. Its address, then we need to cast it as a char pointer, and then we need to take that whole thing and pick the 0th. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we'll see which character is the right one. So now, if we just GCC shut up docker, alright, GCC int output int exa, then we can int exa, and then there we have it. It's backwards, which makes sense. Now the only question is, which way is it going backwards? So this, which means from 5 on, we can delete it. How is the black hole linked to RAM? Oh, isn't it obvious? I don't think I even need to explain this. This feels pretty self-explanatory. Everyone knows how black holes are linked to RAM, random access memory. There we go. And now if we do 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. No, wait, 0. Why is there 5? That's incorrect. Should be go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I just can't count apparently. There we go. It says make it, even though we inputted a number. Remember, CGI lamps produce real light. That is true. That is true.
Holy shit!
Well, watch out. Kids are watching sometimes. What's your language? Okay, this is solid.
Program in C, which does the exact same thing as which does the exact same thing as I see.
Which does the exact same thing right here. There we go.
Which does the exact same thing as I just shown you in Blender. That is really how memory functions. And with that in mind, we can move on to...
Yeah, right here, I remember we didn't want this transition.
Memory and addresses.
Never mind, the transition actually would work fairly well.
Functions. And with that in mind, we can move on to... memory and addresses.
Nah, it's a bit of a pickle. That's what he said. Make it make sense. I agree. Okay, now it's time for the black hole animation, which we'll obviously use to explain random access memory. Obviously, duh. But first I need to include this code right here, which does the exact thing I mentioned it does. However, it's going to be a bit tricky to explain. And that's because right here I haven't mentioned how pointers work yet. Kind of an issue. I'll think of something.
The underlying information never changes.
Hi, the Misty.
And just to prove to you that this really is how it works, here's a program in C which does the exact same thing as I just shown you in Blender. That is really how memory functions. And with that in mind, we can move on to memory and...
Right here, actually, what should happen is this music should finish, and then we should... Oh, yeah, this can work, actually. Hold on, allow me to partake in the action of cooking, because...
Because you haven't seen it. But the point of today's video will be different, and that will be the fact that if you have a 40 bits...
You
like
sound
this,
very, very tired. yes, kind of a
then
bit.
you can read it as a char, then another char, then a short.
It's fine, I just need to get in the mindset, and then we'll be just stomping alone. Oh, that looks really good, Black Thunder, my goodness. That is a really good looking black hole. That's impressive. Really is impressive. The only problem is I already spent all the render time on mine.
Interpreter must ask text instead
Elegant Fancy, actually, well...
of numbers. And there we go. You get a word.
Where am I supposed to cut the music for this? I need to pull the typical make it sleight of hand where I... Okay, I can cut it right here. There we go. How do you
So a
bend?
simple device. What we do is probably just take them, put...
That's such an awkward ending to the song.
It does the exact same thing as I just shown you in Blender. That is really how memory functions. And with that in mind, we can move on to... memory and addresses.
There we go. That's what we can do. We can do this. This would be slowly going up, and we need like... Took 3 hours at 1K samples. What are you rendering? Honestly, that's... 3 hours at one... It's a lot! It's all volumes in glass. Oh, okay, yeah, that would do the trick, I suppose. Jeez. That is quite expensive rent time-wise. Now, right here... Should someone check on positron? Timing is just quiet.
What? Yes.
Exactly, as I said. But it looks real, that's all I give a shit about. Okay, where is my fire
Yeah, by the way,
sub?
that
There it
is
is.
a really good black hole. Yes, I agree. Sorry, zoned out for a bit.
Oh, this is going to work well. Hold on.
Memory and
I
addresses.
regret being
So,
stupid.
random access memory to be exact, or RAM if you're hip and cool with the youth, is the memory you use for memory and
The black hole is crucial to explaining it, okay? Just trust me, trust the process.
Wait,
and with
make
that
it.
in
Did
mind-
you switch to live chat? Did you switch to live chat?
No, now I did. Why didn't Nimit just said make it you're slow? Oh, because of Wordle. Okay. Ouch.
Are you deleting by chance the messages that says that you're playing?
No.
Because it's
memory and addresses.
there was a time
So,
when it
memory,
did
random access.
show that you're playing, but then it didn't show that didn't show message that you were playing, and I was worried.
This memory to be exact, or RAM if you. So, memory.
Right, we need text. Because there's no way I'm adding text to that scene. That's a bit pricey for me computationally. Cairo, middle, stroke with black, there we go. Actually no, Cairo doesn't fit. We need something proper good. Something like... Nah, fine. It's fine.
Memory. random memory.
Okay.
So, memory. Random access.
Did I spell access correctly? Hope I did. I did. Good.
Oh, memory. Random access memory to be exact, or RAM if you're hip exact, or RAM.
Rum. This.
RAM, if you're hip and cool with the youth, is the memory you use for accessing random things. So, for example, when you're running some kind of graphical free, hip and cool with the youth is.
And right here was where we need to do the funnies, where we need to record the blender we have and then use that in the video. Hold on.
Is the memory you use for accessing random things. So, for example, when you're running some kind of graphical 3D animation software and you have a bunch of objects in your scene, then random access memory is where you store the location of these objects, their vertices, connections.
Or actually, yeah, we wouldn't need much here. All we would need is just like the black hole thing, which should be memory 4. No, of course it's not. RAM, right. And 1080. There we go. And then what we need is I need to switch to this. And I need to record this. Hi, the Tefta! Hi! Welcome. I'm just right now explaining how memory works using normal visual aids. Okay, just one full loop, and then we can switch to this, and then we can turn off the volume because it's not necessary. There we go. Stop rendering. Almost stop the stream as well. Show recordings, and now we can turn it off. And now, well, actually, we can't turn it off because we'll still need that scene. But delete this for now. We'll get back to it. We have this now, which is the animation. Perfect. And now,
Memory you use for accessing random things. So, for example, when
right here, we want this to zoom down and back into the corner of Blender.
accessing random things. So, for example,
Right here is where we begin. And then oh wait, hold on, I forgot to switch back. There we go. Thanks for reminding me. And then wait, if you switch anchor point to 0, then in order for it to, do we also need to switch this to 0? I don't remember. Yes, okay, good.
when you're running some kind of graphical 3D animation software,
I always find it much easier to do this if I switch the anchor points to 0, because then I only need to align the corner and I don't need to align anything else. I need to align this right here. There we go. And then I can just meddle with the size until it fits perfectly.
and you have a bunch of objects in your scene, then random access memory is where you store the location of.
Okay, so this point, from this point.
When you're running some kind of graphical 3D animation software, and you have a bunch of
And right here is where we're gonna switch to this. Like so.
And you have a bunch of objects in your scene, then have a bunch of objects in your scene, then
I suppose not. I suppose let's just make this vanish slowly over time.
of objects in your scene. You have a bunch of objects in your scene, then random access memory is where you stored the location. Random access memory is where you stored the location.
And now we want it to go back. Ah, it's a bit of a troll. Now we want it to go back
Location of
because
these objects.
because now it's a bit exhausting for a really dumb bit, honestly.
Access memory is where you stored the location of these objects.
So here's what we'll do. We will have this as a background, and then we're going to get back into Blender, into the RAM, like so. Then what we're gonna do is we're going to install a render saver in order for us to not have to deal with everything we've dealt with so far. There we go. Perfection. And then what we can do is we can just modify these cubes. Easy as it could be. And simple.
Is where you stored the location of these objects. The location of these objects. Their vertices, connections between them, faces, materials, and so on, so forth. All of this location of these objects.
Now, what? Great question. 4,000? Why am I rendering as 4,000? 250 would be more than fine. Have you seen the atrocious pile of nodes behind that render? Yes, I have. That's how, at some point in Blender you just stop dealing with objects, just start doing geometry nodes. Genuine thing that happens. I don't think this is rendering correctly. It doesn't feel like it at the very least. It doesn't feel like it's rendering correctly. Well, that could be just me being schizophrenic. And then overlay with alpha. Yes. Well, I mean, call it 0.png. Perfect. Then what we'll want is we will want the all the cubes have the same material, like this cube, cube, cube. My PC. No, just don't overload PC so much. Come on, it's not ridiculous. Well, I mean, geometry nodes, if you scrub and all of a sudden add 7 million instances, that's a maybe. Usually, from my experience, for me, shader nodes either crash my PC outright or are completely fine. There's no in between. They either do one or the other. Principal volume. All right. Distance into emission strength. Then let's increase the transmission ever so slightly and then color ramp it like so. There we go. Oh, you're reflecting this. No, this isn't meant to be there. There we go. Now the inside My controller almost killed my PC. All right. Perfect. 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 Next, what?
Location of these objects. They're
This looks really awkward, and I think that maybe because I messed up on the divider, didn't I? There's a way to make it so that it would be how I never remember how though. There was a way to make it transparent. Because if I just do transparent and then this, yeah, that's not gonna do anything. There was a way to make the object transparent and at the same time have it function as a mask. I just don't remember how. Glass. Would that be fine? That seems fine. If I switch... Yeah, there we go. I would say that works. Doesn't really change anything. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Exactly what I... Well, I mean, the background is a bit darker. There's a bit of a pixels there. I could also decrease the render distance of the camera, I guess. I suppose that would work in this case. But I'm kind of afraid that then the volume would just not get... Nothing would happen to the volume.
location of these objects. They're stored the location of these objects.
They look too still, don't they?
Objects.
Yeah, it's because of the artifacts. Artifacts should be moving because they're artifacts. If we don't want the artifacts to be moving, then noise them up, I suppose. Just... Oh, you're adding on the whole thing. Okay, no, so we need to change it up completely, because it's not good. Instead of this, let's add the cube back, and then let's have the end at 95. Let's see how it goes. So far looks pretty good. There is no artifacts of the volume anywhere. This is messed up, that's true, but there is no fixing this unless I increase the sample size, which will make the renders significantly more difficult to perform. I could denoise in advance, I guess, as well. Let's see how this functions. But for now, let's see this as well.
Location of these objects.
Yeah, we need to noise them up.
They're vet. Of these objects. They're
Actually, not bad.
the location of these objects. They're vet. They're vet.
That's actually not half bad.
Objects. Their vertices connections stored the location of these objects. Their vertices connections
I
between
think this might even be a bit much. We could even use a 5.
location of these objects. Their
I don't hate this. Hi, the Catsman. What are you doing? I'm working on the black hole for the video, okay? For the video of computer science. No, this... I don't think this will look right. I don't think this will.
Store the location of this object.
It's way too still. I could add the noise again.
Location of this object.
See if that helps, but we need to crank it up way higher.
Location of these objects. The location of these objects. The location of these objects. The vertices. Location of these.
Not too terrible. Ah, no, an 8 maybe actually.
Location of these objects. Location of these objects.
Yeah, let's use the top one, fine.
Location of these objects. Their vertices connect.
Okay, and now what we need to do is the classics, which basically means each and every single one of them will need to get geometry noded. Yup. These will be the vertices. That works. That's nice. Color. So have the vertices be this, and brightness to a 10. And render image. Oh, it is not rendering the volume. Just hit me. Yeah, there's no glow. Let's hope that the glow on the cube is enough. This will be a fun one. In the meantime, while we'll be slowly chugging along these renders, I should probably finish the script for the last section. That's curious. The last section of the video. Which is the memory and addresses. Oh my goodness, this is such a lot. So much of everything. Okay, add the thing, add the thing, add the stuff. Perfect.
Their vertices connection. Their vertices connections between them.
So now, next one will be edges, which should be simple enough. Ish. If you met a genie that offered you 3 wishes, what would you wish for? I would wish for 1,000,000 wishes. Next question. There's a way to make... Hold on. Wish Sublime probably. That would be a pretty solid one, I do have to say. What would you do with 1,000,002 wishes? I would use them carelessly, with not much regard for them, to be honest. But I feel like after, you know, wishing for omnipotence, for... Actually, omnipotence, that's like 90% of it. After wishing for omnipotence, I would probably just keep the other 1,000,001 wishes, you know, in the back pocket. Just in case. Why would you want to be impotent? Just in case, you never know. You never know in life. Sometimes you need to be impotent. Wait, what was I doing? Oh, I'm having lots of trouble thinking recently. The stores are open today, actually. I can go buy coffee. I should do that. And also food, because my fridge is empty.
Again.
That's what happens when you eat. AirPods selection. I would like to... Oh, that looks like a maybe.
Something, follow your own advice and take care of yourself.
In regards to what? I don't know what you're referring to right now in this case.
Just to you know, eat well and stuff. But I was making a
Oh
joke.
yeah, yes, right. You know, I was going to buy food to not eat it, actually. Timon, I don't know if you know this, but most of the time, if you want to eat in life, usually buying food is the first step, actually. Usually how it works. There is also option of stealing, but I think if you're taking care of yourself, buying is a better idea. This is a thing. Manual. Not making growing hunting. I wish. My city is running out of pigeons and rats. Already hunted them all. Which edges to be split? Is it on by default? Because then boolean.
Buy a plant, and if it doesn't behave, just eat it.
Or scream at it, I don't know. Whatever anyone prefers.
Yeah, it's just up to personal preferences.
Splits and duplicates edges within a mesh. Well, it clearly isn't, though. Wait, so we need information about... Yeah, Gizmo. No. Humans are just elderly or kids. These is ones. That's just that's good life advice. Honestly. So what do we want? Connected regions in a mesh. No, they're all connected. Can I select geometry? This is tricky, because when the green output is vertices, edges, and faces, which all seem like wildly different things, I only need one of them. So what I would like to do is ideally select instances based on if they are an edge or a face. The problem is the faces are part of the edges, so like... Hmm. Is face. Is there like... Well, there's is face planar, which I mean, I could just... Would this work? This won't work, because I need to separate off the... Is there like an attribute of edges that says if they are connected to faces? Wait, delete geometry. Face.
What the hell are the pigeons are doing at my window? You know what? It's their business, not mine.
This would almost work if not for the fact that it completely doesn't. That's because what I need to do is I need to like delete every single... That's fun. Delete every single face. Skipping T. I know that I don't actually need to do this. I could just as easily do this and then, you know, dissolve faces. I'll just delete them like a normal person. But I want to know for future reference. How do I delete geometry while skipping the S? For example, delete geometry and then delete geometry again. Realizing. Well, that's curious, because if it didn't, if it just didn't delete the face, that, I mean, it didn't delete an edge. Once we delete the next one, once we keep it to 8, then we do get edges, which is nice, what we want. When was the first 2 disappear? I want to just select all the faces and delete only faces in edit mode. It's because I want to know for future reference how to, because this is not the first time I want to add this effect. I would like to know for future reference. What if I select a face Then what if I select a face? Separate it off, select another face, separate it off, or will it take the edge with it? It might take the edge with it. That's tricky. Hmm. So is there just a single blue dot I can all the race? That's annoying. There we go. I think I might know a way to do it. What if... What if we, instead of deleting them, we create them? As in, we just remove everything, keeping only that. But how like, oh, keeping only that is easy, it's the points. Yes. And then add connections in between the points based on... I don't know, actually. Based on something to do with normals. That could work. Without requiring me to also select like the next point. We can do position of vertices. Hold on. I'm thinking. Mesh the points. And once we take the points out, this way. Hi there, Mark. Hi, welcome. How to do a connection between them in a smart way? Because I know at least 3 dumb ways. That's not what we want. We want a smart way. Huh. There's a lot of smart methods. What's the goal? It's tricky to explain. Ah, piss, my head hurts. No, we're not doing this today. We're not doing this today. We're just gonna do it the simple way. I'm sorry, may I delete the face? There we go. Well, ideally, now I think about it, we actually would like to keep both the original and this, because now this one's gonna be kind of a tricky damn it. We can just add in the... I don't know what we can do. We can just duplicate all of them, and then from each and every single one, remove geometry nodes. And actually, oh no, we can... I keep thinking about how to do it in this specific case, because... That's because... Actually, much better way to do it would be to hard-code it using cylinders. Because then later on we could move the cylinders along with binary numbers. Yes. I guess hard coding it is then. Alright, cylinder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then these, and then this, and this. Repeat. Move it to the edge, like so. 1, 1, and then rotate. Perfect. Multiply like this, pi divided by 2. And we have an edge on every single corner. Now let's set material to white, and let's store named attribute as equal, let's white. And then brightness 1, there we go. Those are edges so far. Hi the alien math, hi. And then what we want is actually pretty simple, because what we want is we actually want the same thing to happen to a group of cylinders in which we move each one, yes. So join geometry to additional transforms like this. $90 and $90 and $90, and then all we need to do is just form these classes on top of the underlying cylinders. How difficult could it possibly be? -1, negative, no wait, that's not the right -1. This one should be -1. And this one should be -1. Yup, there we go. Festive. Now we have the edges on each and every single one. To be fair, they're not really done in the best way possible. Yeah, they're not really done in the best way possible because... Damn it, no they're not. That's not what you want at all. That's because later on, if we attach a number to every single one of them, then attaching it will be a pain. Which means that instead of this, what we actually want is to get back to geometry nodes and have a 12 iteration cycle where the position of each one is completely determined based on this. So, right here, math greater than. If it's greater than 3, there we go, that seems correct. And if it's greater than 7, that means we move up. I am incredible, wow. There we go. Now we have a repeat node which adds in all the correct edges, which is useful because then we can have text which mimics this movement, and that means the text will mimic the lines, and that means it will be really easy for us to disassemble the curve. You'll see what I mean later on. Oh, the cube. Render image. Oh, this is exhausting. Bye, Misty. Bye. See ya. Okay, perfection so far. Haven't gotten the scripting finished yet, have I? No, I have not. Okay. Well, first, how does it look in practice? Indeed. First time. So basically, we package numbers into these segments. Next, you can think of numbers as just my key J wasn't working for a second. Just name line bytes like so, where each. Yeah, I think this will be solid. Box with a value inside, being a specific 8-digit long binary code and having its own unique address. Let me put something in Discord chat so if you do it right away. What do you mean? Something in Discord chat. What are you putting in Discord chat? Yeah, that's kind of the thing I'm going for.
I'll be back in a sec.
Right, render this as a 4. Let's keep going.
Vertices, connections between them,
Then faces. Each face we would actually like to do it the same way as we did edges, which is with a repeat node. And planes this time. Simple as it could be. Now let's just duplicate this. It's fine. Plane. Right, plane. No wait, this grid, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Grid, perfect. Into geometry. Plug this into the join. This time this will be orangish. Dark orangish. And then we want it to be with up at 0.5. Halfway of the alpha. 6 of them. Top side, each side, and 1. And then once again, preferably the repeat node to then add the binaries on top. Which means delete all of this. Well, maybe keep the multiply. Seems convenient. This is rotating only around z-axis, which is not something we want. What we actually want is, yeah, it rotates by z-axis every single time. Oh, that's convenient. 0 at the top. Then this be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 5 be that, which means, and 5 once again be, so we can actually separate into 2. This one first being transform, which will move it by 1.1. Yup, we're basically there. The only difference is that at 0 we want this to be 0. At 1 through 4 we want it to be, that should be fairly simple. Truncated modulo 4 multiplied by half pi top and at the top at the bottom. 0 divided by 4 gives us 0. Oh yeah, right, because then what we want is no wait, that's incorrect. Floor. I'm not thinking today. I'm just straight up not thinking. There we go, we got half. I am really not thinking. What am I doing? We got on 3 faces out of 4. What we need is... I'm losing my mind. I need to note this down. I am not quick today, and this is not fun. F... of the set to another set where we go from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yup. And this maps it to 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. That's what we want. And in order for that to happen, what we could do is we could divide all of these numbers by 4, in which case we would get 0 and then this. And instead of floor, we want to seal them. And that's it. Divide by 4 and then seal. I am good at what I do. This is exactly spot on. Wow, I'm good at mathematics. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. Render image.
In them faces, materials, and so on, so forth. In them faces, materials, and so on, so forth. All of this information needs to be stored. So, how could it be stored? Well, if we were, all of this information needs to be stored. So, how could it be stored?
And right here, we're just already gonna move away from the entire black hole render thing. It's no longer needed. We will no longer do it. And we just move away to just talking about memory. The black hole has served this purpose for absolutely no reason. It's been fun. Now time to get back to the real thing. You know what, everyone? I think actually we might need to cut this stream short. I need to go buy coffee. Because this is clearly not doing it. I feel I'm not entertaining. I know. I'm gonna go buy coffee. Then I'll be back. Then I'll crunch through the video. And then the video will be up. Hope you all enjoy it. Hope it'll be fun. And so on and so forth. Anyway, I'll probably do another stream today as well. Because this one kind of sucked. And for now, that'll be it. Thank you all so much for watching. And have a great day. Bye.